boxing. Introducing the referee in charge of this bout, working in this his 75th world title bout, Marty Dinkin. Presenting to you first the classy challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring with black trunks and pink trim and fighting out of Sydney, Australia. He weighed in at a trim and ready 152 pounds, and his record includes 20 wins with 2 losses and 14 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked number 5 super welterweight contender in the world by the WBC, introducing the challenger, known as the Glamour with the Hammer, Troy Waters. And his opponent across the ring in the red corner on my left, really needing no introduction to you, the boxing fans. He's wearing white trunks with red trim as he represents the First Fighters Squadron in Campo, California. He weighed in at 154 pounds with a record of 34 wins and 3 losses. He has 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making his 9th defense of his title. Please welcome one of the young superstars of boxing today, the defending WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Terrible Terry Norris. Once again, here's your referee in charge now to give instructions, Marty Dinkin.
Gentlemen, remember what I told you in the dressing room? You do your job and I'll do mine. Good luck to both of you.
Norris told us yesterday with his usual air of confidence he'll continue to do what got him to this juncture. He'll come forward, use pressure, and look to get Waters going backwards. Round 1 scheduled for 12 for the WBC Super Welterweight Championship. Norris said he's really been working out hard of late. Now bench presses 310 pounds, and he comes out winging against Troy Waters.
Well, Waters came right out toward him, but it's like the lion is waiting there, waiting for his prey, because he's going to sit there. Terry's going to counter. He's going to work him. The kid's got a reasonable defense, from what I understand, a good chin, but Terry just looks to have too much already.
He just looks like he's trying to walk through him. Now this, what he's got to do, Troy, he's got to put some hurt on. He's got to land something hard. He can punch, there's no question about it. You look at his knockout record, he's got to land something hard.
Norris with an early barrage. Norris, who has improved in each of his 8 title defenses, says in studying Waters, he's found that he stays busy, throws a lot of punches, has some power, a decent boxer, but we may never get a chance to see it because down goes Waters here in the first.
I'll tell you right now, punches that get hit on top of the head when they land on that soft spot, they really hurt and they last a long time.
And that's the first time that Troy Waters has been knocked down in his career.
Oh, he's taking a point away from Terry Norris for hitting him on top of the head as on the way down. Now that's a strange one. He went down, that gives him a 10-8 round. And then again, you got to take a point away. I think it's academic the way this is going. Doesn't make any difference.
Waters is on his way again.
This fight's all but over right now. Terry's in a bad mood and he's taking it out all on Troy Waters.
Well, he doesn't want to stay here long. Waters cannot stay on those ropes and take this punishment. He can't do that.
Heavy shots by Terry Norris upstairs and to the body. And Troy Waters showing tremendous heart just to withstand this punishment. Just midway through the first now.
See, Troy doesn't have anything to keep Terry off. If you're going to let Terry load up, let him place his shots and time him at will, you're basically a dead man.
It is target practice for Terry Norris.
Terry Norris bench presses an enormous amount of weight, so what he wants is somebody to stand still and let him get hit, and that's what this kid's doing on the ropes. Troy Waters has got to get a better game plan, and most of it involves getting away from this hammering that he's taking right now. He can't just stand there. He's got to get some movement.
And the bench pressing doesn't seem to have hurt the snap in his punch.
Well, it sure hasn't. He's determined.
Well, how will that deduction, though, affect the scoring of this round? It's kind of unusual.
It's easy. It's a 10-8 round as it stands, and you take 1 point away from Norris. Makes it a 9-8 round. And you take a point away from the guy that took it away from. Really
it'll be academic when this is over with, because I don't think we're going to get to the cards. Right now, Troy Waters, again, just cannot keep Terry Norris off him.
20 seconds left in round one, a round that must seem like it is endless for Troy Waters. Knocked down in the early seconds was Troy Waters. The city of San Diego carved out in the hair of Terry Norris.
Listen to me. Breathe. Breathe. Wait. Look, son. Listen. Hold your locks. Use your locks. Is he hurting you on the locks? Huh? Is he hurting you when you're in the locks?
It's a knockdown, but I'm taking 1 point from you, okay?
Thank you. All right. Okay, look.
It's a knockdown, but I took 1 point.
You got to go to your stick. You got to drop that wide right hand out here to the hip. Okay? Come on, Troy. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. And you've got to go to
Let's take a look at that knockdown. We're getting conflicting reports from that referee. See, that's that overhand to the back of the head, and that one, while he was down already, is what should have cost him the point.
Well, I'll tell you, that's what did cost him the point. And Norris was disqualified once for the same thing.
Now
those
watch.
punches on top of the head, here, he's clearly down on top of the head, and that's where the point came from.
That could have been dangerous. If they could have clearly disqualified him, and that would have really been dangerous.
That disqualification came against a fighter named Joseph Walker in 1987. Yes, it has happened before. Also against Donald Curry and Sugar Ray Leonard.
Well, this is a guy that's all wound up and with evil intention, as Tyson used to say. And when he punches to the very end. He's a determined fighter, a rough guy.
There's another right hand by Terry Norris.
Troy Waters, to his credit, comes back with a nice combination. He's demonstrating a pretty good chin and some, I'll tell you what, some real determination.
Norris goes down! Unbelievable! What a turn of events!
He's in trouble. He's in big trouble.
It came out of nowhere!
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. The right uppercut he told us about earlier, he hit him with it, and look at what we have in front of us.
He was I thought it was a low blow. He had landed, but he hit him with an uppercut, and the legs went out from Terry Norris. Would this be the upset of the year? No, it would be the upset of the decade.
Norris looking to shake it off and comes back. Now to the head of Troy Waters. But Waters refuses to go down.
Terry Norris' head is cleared up now, but I'll tell you what, Troy Waters, if he weathers the storm, he's got to have a certain amount of adrenaline behind him because of that knockdown.
And Terry is wearing out. He is wearing out. He's throwing everything he's got.
He hurt Terry again. He hit him with a left uppercut, and Terry fell right into it.
What a game, Troy Waters. Midway through the second.
He keeps hitting low, does Troy Waters. That's taking a lot out of him also. In all the action, they haven't said anything about a low blow, but he's getting hit a lot as Terry Norris.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Terry really wants to get this guy out of here. More than anything else, he's probably got him embarrassed as well in his hometown. And I'll tell you what, this is one game kid.
Well, he's on the way now, but he has given Terry a big scare.
Less than a minute remaining in round two. What an incredible turnaround. Look at this exchange.
I'll tell you, you have to admire this Troy Waters. He has withstood an unbelievable onslaught, and here he is punching.
And taking punches. Wow, what he's taking, Bobby, should have knocked anybody out.
But back comes Waters. This crowd in a frenzy, most of them standing. And most of them in disbelief. Norris must be thinking, what do I have to do to get rid of this guy?
Well, I'll tell you, not only that, the kid is coming back with good, solid punches.
Oh,
Look at that right hand. What a right by Waters.
what a right hand by Waters. Just when the referee is leaning in, looking like he favors a stoppage. Oh,
One of the rounds of the year.
That is not not going to help his quest for pound best.
Norris got in trouble. Unbelievable as it sounds. Here's an uppercut coming again. No, it's not an uppercut. It's a right hand right
to the temple, right across to the temple of his head. And I think the punch before that might have done something.
But Norris comes back scared as he must have been and embarrassed as he must have been. He came back with everything he had. But the Australian was there at the end. He was still standing. What a display of guts.
What a tremendous round.
Now round 3. Scheduled for 12.
We should know from watching Jeff Fennick fight Azuma Nelson that when they come on Australia mad, they can fight and they can take an awful lot of punishment. Our hats were off to Jeff Fennick, and now our hats have got to be off to Troy Waters after just 2 rounds.
Norris showing a suspect chin. Is he looking ahead to Reggie Johnson, Julian Jackson, and Julio Cesar Chavez?
You know, once again, we're talking about Troy Waters, not a Julian Jackson, not a Roy Jones. And what you might want to look at now again is, will he be considered pound for pound the best, getting dropped like that by a fighter of this caliber or lack of caliber?
And not being able to put him out after hitting him so many times. He just had his way. Look at this. The referee is leaning in there.
Again, Waters getting pummeled to the face but refusing to go down.
And that referee just looks like he wants to stop the fight, which would cause a riot right now.
Terry got hit a low shot too that bothered him a little bit, and it may still be bothering him.
Terry has been hit a lot of low shots.
Blood streaking from the face of Troy Waters. Uppercut. Oh, body shots by Norris. He won't go down.
It's incredible what a good chin could do for a man. He may very well be on the brink of getting beaten out, but he had an unbelievable shot just a round ago at being one of the biggest upsets in history.
What an incredible display of intestinal fortitude by Troy Waters of Australia.
And make no mistake, he's still throwing punches, and they're low, and they're bothering Terry Norris. He doesn't stop fighting.
We heard that Waters was a tough kid, but this is incredible.
He's redefining tough.
Low blow there by Waters. Got away with it.
This referee just doesn't see low at all.
Down goes Waters.
He looks okay now. He looks better now than he did a little while ago. But it's going to be interesting to see. Will Terry Norris punch himself out, or will he be able to keep cool?
He goes down for the second time. He just smiled at referee Marty Dakin and said, "Let's continue."
Look at him, look at him.
And that was the result of a wild punch.
But the point is, he's punching with everything he's got. Like Bobby said, he got up in good shape.
He did. He got up in better shape than he had been while he was standing a few moments ago. And he is still trying. It's going to be just a matter of time with this much punishment, though. They're going to have to stop it sooner or later.
Troy Waters absorbing an amazing amount of punishment.
But as long as he keeps coming back, they cannot stop this. He keeps coming back and fighting. His face is falling apart. As Bobby said at the beginning, this is what it looks like. In 5 rounds, his face will fall apart. Well, it is. It's coming apart.
Marty Dakin wants the doctor.
I want to see the cut stop. Is he all right?
Let me see. I don't think.
Is he all right?
Gonna get one more round. One,
Okay. We're going to give him
one more.
Let's take a look at that perfect punch. One punch was coming as the other one went right, a right hand landing perfectly. And you know, Bobby, when you're throwing one and you get one, that's when it hurts.
You watch right here, you'll see Troy's feet is up in the air. He's off balance. He gets caught, but it was a sharp, crisp right hand. But some of the other blows he had taken flush, much heavier, much more damage.
Right, Bobby, and he got up, as you pointed out, in much better shape because he wasn't in that kind of trouble. It was like an off balance. He got hit in midair.
But his face
were his face is coming apart, Bobby, under both eyes and under the brow. Let's listen.
Come on. All right.
This big
Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it.
One guy is allowed in there. Let's go.
Marty, I don't want to go.
Look, this guy wants to quit. He wants to quit.
It's all over. You heard the words, "I don't want to go," from that corner. And Terry Norris retains his WBC Super Welterweight Championship against a game and courageous Troy Waters of Australia.
And Lupe Aquino came right up there, and Terry Norris came right to the ropes. I thought he was going to go over and congratulate Troy, and instead he issued a challenge, and it's looking like it's getting ugly between Lupe Aquino and Terry Norris. Terry Norris, I wouldn't say would be in any hurry to get in a fight after that little imbroglio.
Well, I'll tell you, the verbal assaults will continue. It's just evident. A fighter who wants to be pound for pound the best around, and I think Terry Norris is one of them, but maybe not the best.
And Bobby, you hear the crowd reaction. They are not happy with the decision as the referee stops the fight. Prior to the stoppage of the fight, when he brought in the doctor, you could hear the corner of Troy Waters pleading to the physician, "One more round. Give us just one more round."
Well, I'll tell you, I think Troy Waters' stock was like Toys R Us years ago. It was pennies, and now it's skyrocketed and split. He just made such an impressive showing here in the loss that he'll be back in this country, and he'll be back on Showtime probably too.
Yes, indeed. Troy Waters with an astounding performance here, even though it ended at the end of round number 3. Put on an amazing effort here against the champion Terry Norris by withstanding a tremendous amount of a punishment. Now Terry being hugged by his wife. As Norris goes to 35-3 with 21 knockouts. But this, one of the more difficult affairs of his career.
It reminds me a little bit of the fight Julian Jackson had with a relative no name, and Troy Waters is a relative no name, although ranked. And this fellow that Julian Jackson wasn't even ranked, and got hit a few shots. And you know, every now and then, if you get a little too confident when you're that good, you leave yourself open for some serious trouble.
You see the marked up face of Troy Waters, knocked down for the first time in his career. Here at the Sports Arena in San Diego, we are set for the official word, and let's go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 3 with the consent of the referee and the corner of the fighter involved. Fighter receiving severe lacerations, unable to continue. The winner by way of technical knockout, and still WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Terrible Terry Norris. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand of recognition
The
for an
crowd responding. I really thought that I heard, it may have been, I may be mistaken, Bobby, but I thought I heard Troy Waters say, "I've had enough," or something to that extent.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to hear it very clearly, and with all the excitement, I was so caught up in what was happening myself that I was trying to pay attention to see, because I heard them say one more round, maybe.
That I heard too, but as Jimmy Lennon announced it, with the consent of the corner. Let's take a look at the knockdown action as you look at a relieved Terry Norris, the 3 knockdowns.
Well, here you see round 1. Terry's coming out. He's on the attack. He's demonstrating all the power and speed and everything that he has. He reaches around, good body shot, and he eventually hits him on top of the head. Bam. Brings him to the ground. And now the shot that, again, they got the point deducted for because it was a late blow while he was down.
Now, obviously, at this point, everybody in the house believing it is almost over. But here's what happened.
Well, Waters hits him with a decent right hand there, and you can see a little bit of a slowdown. Now a right hand to the temple, and there's Norris. He goes down, and he was hurt. You could see in his eyes he was a little hurt. And as he got up and went to battle, he was just so intent on getting him out of there that he absorbed more punishment than he needed to. And the last knockdown again, Terry just has too much for Troy Waters, and eventually they're going to have to stop the fight, which they did. But to Troy Waters' credit, he just withstood an enormous amount of punishment. This was more of a flash knockdown. Feet were off balance. Sharp, quick, crisp right hand on the money, but more of a, he's taken much bigger blows and stood up.
I mean, you just run out of adjectives trying to describe this performance by Troy Waters. The fight doctor is up in the ring with both fighters, Troy Waters and Terry Norris. So let's go up to Ferdy Pacheco.
no way you could have expected this kind of hell on a night like this.
No, not really. When I dropped him first time, I celebrated too early. Came back, caught me with a good shot, dropped me. That made me wake up.
But the number of punches that you rained on this young man is inordinate because you're so strong. The strength of you is supposed to be the strongest in the division. Yet this man from Australia, from down under here, took all those shots and still had to stop it in the corner. You still couldn't put him down.
No, I hit him with everything. I was nailing him with some good shots. Dropped him twice, but still, he kept coming back. He's strong.
When you were down there on the canvas, what was that going through your mind in front of your hometown?
I was down there. I was like, oh shit, it hit me now. It's time to get busy now.
All right, and of course, this brave and valiant man in the footsteps of Jeff Fennick, who always gave us great fights, gave us another great Australian fight here. I can't tell you how proud we are of you and the way you fought, but this man has pummeled you, and you still stood. Didn't you think you were going?
Well, no, I'm a pretty tough son of a bitch. I've been in a lot of hard fights and some of the spars with my brothers, but I take my hat off to Terry Norris. He's a great champion and undoubtedly the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in the world today.
Well, that's high praise for a man who just took a king-size beating from you. And Don, what does it do to the chances of Terry Norris now to step up to the big boys and go with?
I think Terry Norris put on an excellent performance. I think Showtime and Don King has demonstrated again that they're #1 in boxing, putting on the best shows, the best fighting the best. It was a courageous fight by Troy Waters. It was fire and water. The fire evaporated the water, but the water certainly was a hurricane. And I think they were really great.
One last thing. I saw you come over and get in a shouting match with Lupe Aquino. What's all that about?
Lupe's jealous. I'm where he should be, where he wants to be, and he's jealous. He wants to be where I'm at.
Will you fight him ever?
Lupe has to come up in the top 10. He has nothing. So whenever he comes up, I'll fight him if he's in my way.
All right, and for you, you will continue your career, I'm sure, off of a fight like this.
Well, that's for sure. I hurt Terry Norris, so he's one of the best fighters pound for pound in the world today. So if I can hurt Terry Norris, I'm sure there's a lot of other guys out there that I can hurt and I can beat, and a bit more experience, a bit more hard training, and we'll be back.
Well, Showtime has always been the television show of upsets. We almost had one today, thanks to this young man, and a courageous fight by Troy made this one of the best fights of the night. I congratulate both of you, and we go back to Steve Albert at ringside.
All right. Thank you very much, Ferdy. Now, there was some confusion, but let's hear the corner of Troy Waters towards the end of the fight, just before it was called. Maybe we can ascertain exactly what happened. So a night of fights coming to a close here at the San Diego Sports Arena. And I don't think we could really tell from that particular sequence what really happened. But I did think that I heard from the mouth of the challenger Troy Waters something to the effect, I've had enough. But as we both heard prior to that, you heard the corner of Troy Waters saying to the referee, urging on the referee, pleading with him, please give us one more round. But then when the doctor came in, it was a different story when he looked at all those cuts.
Yeah, the cuts were pretty bad, and I think that Troy Waters was pretty much a beaten fighter. He had that flash of brilliance. He had that unbelievable chance, but it did slip away.
Do you think perhaps Terry Norris was looking ahead? Because Joe Sajatovic, his manager, told us yesterday, in fact, he revealed it to Terry Norris in our pre-fight meetings yesterday, so Terry was a little bedazzled by it, that he would fight the winner of Reggie Johnson, Julian Jackson for the WBA middleweight championship.
He may not have just been looking ahead, but he had such a tremendous first round. He was just doing whatever he wanted to that he figured, well, I can probably just keep doing this. And he was just running along, doing his nice little thing, not having any pressure applied to him. And all of a sudden, a sneaky right hand, another right hand to the temple, and he's on his knees.
Now, there's been a public outcry of sorts for Norris versus Chavez somewhere down the road. What do you think a Julio Cesar Chavez was thinking watching this particular fight?
Well, I think Julio Cesar Chavez, being the fighter that he is, puncher, boxer, everything that he does so well, probably said to himself, you know what, if I wasn't thinking about it, now I am.
Yes.
I think that he, for that brief moment, demonstrated to a lot of people that they have, at the very least, a puncher's chance against a great Terry Norris.
Now, we had thought that perhaps the biggest difference was not so much in weight between Norris and Chavez, but in strength. But now, does that take a different turn, a different twist after what we just witnessed?
I think it possibly could, but the power thing comes with the strength, so we'll see what happens.
All right, Bobby. Our diligent crew in the truck has found the audio portion of what we were searching for earlier, the end of the fight. Let's take a look and listen to what was going on in the Troy Waters corner earlier.
Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it.
One guy is on here. Let's go.
Marty, I don't want to go.
Look, this guy wants to quit. He wants to quit.
It's all over. Yes, it was the handlers, the corner people. It wasn't Troy Waters himself. I knew I heard the words, "I don't want to go," Bobby. I just wasn't sure who said that.
Yeah, the one big corner man that was directly in front of him said, "No, I don't want him going out there. I don't want to go no more." And that was it. That's it. It's over.
So that's it. But really, what more can you say? A valiant effort by this man who came a long way fighting in the United States for the very first time.
Well, I'll tell you, I can't give him enough praise for his guts, his courage, and what he's shown me tonight.
All right, let's take a recap of tonight's results earlier this evening. The IBF Welterweight Championship. Felix Trinidad, a rising star, scoring the second round KO over Maurice Blocker, taking the IBF Welterweight Championship away from Blocker. 149 into round number 2. The knockout for young Felix Trinidad, the 20-year-old out of Puerto Rico. And in the main event, just seen, the WBC Super Welterweight Championship, it was Terry Norris over Troy Waters, but it wasn't easy. A TKO in round number 3 over a very, very courageous and impressive Troy Waters. So, Bobby, let's get your final comments and impressions on tonight's affairs. First of all, as far as Felix Trinidad is concerned, as I said before, the scouting report was very accurate on this young man. It could be, in fact, that a star is born tonight.
Yes, the scouting report was very good, but now we have to see him against someone who gives a little more offensive, an offensive effort. Somebody who's hitting him back, somebody who's slipping his punches. Blocker just seems to have seen his better days, and unfortunately, for a good champion, the time is gone.
All right, and in the main event we just saw, one final thought on Waters Norris.
Well, I'll tell you, Terry Norris is Terry Norris, and he was so determined, even when he was really hurt, to go out there and take this kid out and just fight through being hurt. But, he made some mistakes. He showed a questionable chin here because Troy Waters is not a devastating puncher like a Julian Jackson or a Julio Cesar Chavez. So now a lot of questions will be raised. But again, everybody's entitled to a mistake, a bad day, or an accident. And something here happened tonight almost was a tremendous accident.
Well, even though it went just 3 rounds, it was electrifying. All right, Bobby, and a reminder, as the summer heats up, so does the action here on Showtime Championship Boxing. On August 1st, Showtime Championship Boxing presents a super middleweight doubleheader. James Lights Out Tony, the IBF champion, defending his title against former champ Darren Van Horn. Also featured that broadcast, WBA super middleweight champ Michael Second to None defends his crown against Murky Sosa. That's Sunday, August 1st, 4:30 Eastern and Pacific time. Then, on September the 10th, Showtime Event Television and King Vision present the WBC Welterweight Championship. Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker defends his title against the undefeated 3-time world champion Julio Cesar Chavez. These two fighters will be battling for more than a welterweight championship. They'll be waging war for the title of best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. This historic bout will be presented live on pay-per-view from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. So that'll do it for another edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. Hope you enjoyed it. For the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, and Bobby Ches, this is Steve Albert saying so long from San Diego.